Hi guys, Rob from Sonic State here. Today we are looking at the Wampler Sovereign Distortion. Okay, so the signal path, just to start off with, is a Fender Modern Player Telly made in China. Sounds great. Planet Wave lead to the Sovereign Distortion itself. Out of the Sovereign to the Vox Bruno. It is an SE Electronics VR1. The speaker in the Vox is a Celestion Greenback. So let's see what the clean tone sounds like. It's actually really nice. Okay, so the Wampler itself does a couple of things. Actually, it does quite a lot of things, but it was put to Brian Wampler to make a simple distortion pedal. And that's exactly what this thing is. But you can do so much stuff with it. For example, let's just go through the features very quickly. You've got volume, mid behavior, which is your mid control, tone, so if you've got a kind of fairly bass heavy amp, you can go up or down, whatever. Gain dial, which I'll show you adds an awful lot. A bright and even switch. I found that I can't really use it in the even position, it's too muddy, even with the tone right up. And a boost or standard setting, and that makes a huge difference to the sound of this pedal. Let's kind of set it off at a fairly low gain sound, slightly scoop the mids, tone at 12 o'clock, and you just past 12, and gain at 12 o'clock. So, clean sound. That's on the boost setting, so that just gives it that little bit of push, and I'll show you what that can be used for later as well. It's just up the gain, really. It's a distortion pedal, that's what you do. So it starts to get to that really nice, bitey. Clean sound. It's worth mentioning that I'm using the single coil in this thing at the moment. I will switch to the humbucker just for the sake of it. So clean sound is a little bit a lot more gain, obviously, because it's a humbucker. So the mid behavior will go from really seriously scoop, let's leave it on the humbucker, back to about 12 o'clock. So there's quite a range of dynamics that you can get just out of that mid behavior itself. I'll just show you the tone dial very quickly. Leave everything else where it is. Mid, 12 o'clock. Volume, actually no, I'll scoop the mid again. Volume just backed off from 12. And tone, let's start with it kind of same place as the mid. not overly aggressive. I mean, you can make it really painful and tinny, which I'm not going to do, and you can also make it very muddy. If you want that muddy sound, the bright and even switch is really good. If I turn that off. And for argument's sake, let's push the gain all the way around. The other thing to mention is that it's really quiet. I'm using a humbucker. There is a bit of hum, but that's because they're single coils and they are not noiseless, which is something I will change. But full gain on the standard mode, not the boost mode, which I'll come to in a minute. So standard mode. Right, now we come to the boosted mode. Now, this is where this pedal becomes a really good distortion pedal, not just an overdrive pedal, because, well, let's just show you. And you can get into that really, really kind of thick. That's with a single coil. So that's how big it can sound with a single coil. In terms of lead stuff, put it on standard mode, back it off again. Clean sound. Let's get a bit more volume up. A little bit more. And then, again, still on the single coil, up to boost mode. Really, really big sounding pedal. As a standalone distortion, it's brilliant. I would replace, well, I'm currently using another fairly well-known distortion pedal that I would replace in a heartbeat with one of these. Price is about $200, so worth it, definitely. I'm not sure if you can get them from the UK yet. They are a very, very new product on the market. To show the quality of these things, I mean, we were just blown away when we looked at the inside of this. It's just... I showed it to a guy who works for people like Peter Gabriel, the guy that's designing me a pedal at the moment. And he looked at that and just went, wow, that's really, really, really well made. They're a little bit thicker, I don't know if you can see that, than a normal kind of, I don't know, something made by MXR, for example. They're just a little bit thicker, especially with the base plate on. Which, to me, isn't a problem. I love it. But that's just because it sounds amazing. I'm willing to sacrifice the fact that it's slightly thicker for the sake of this pedal. So now what we'll do is we will drop in, I've got an English Muffin from Electro Harmonics that is a distortion pedal in itself, but I found it sounds quite nice as just a clean preamp. And we're going to use the Sovereign to drive that a little bit harder and get those valves to break up. Okay, I found that the English Muffin from Electro-Harmonix is a really nice preamp. I don't use it as a distortion pedal because I have a valve amp for that. I just found that having a valve EQ, which then lets you can break up quite easily, gives you that really old school Marshall sound. So this is the clean sound without the English Muffin. And then with the English Muffin, so when you drive that with something else, you can get it to kind of break up, because at the moment it's just kind of like. So we'll set the Sovereign to standard mode, back the gain off a little bit. Mid's going to stay where it is, tone's going to stay where it is. So it just gives you that really nice valve breaking up sound, because it's a pair of 12A Y7s being pushed by a Sovereign. It's just a really good all-round pedal, and it's at the moment it's $200. I'm not sure what the price increase will be over here. I should imagine it will be in the region of about £180. That's usually what they come out as for a pedal like this. The only thing that I would have changed on it, and there is only one thing, is I would have had the standard and boost options on a foot switch. It's the only thing, because it would be so useful to be able to go from your kind of be able to have that on a foot switch, that just ability to switch between the two would be so useful. Unfortunately, it's currently only with a toggle switch, but I suspect there may be a Mark II, as with a lot of Wampler pedals. They've been, here's the first design, that was good, and then they've listened to people and gone, oh, okay, well we'll add that as well. If it happens, it would be absolutely brilliant, and it will be the only, as I say, the only improvement that I would think of for this pedal. Everything else is just perfect. It sounds so even good. I mean, this is a made in China by Fender, so it's pretty much a Squier, but it makes it sound really good. When you get a really nice pedal, it inspires you to play stuff that you don't normally play, and somebody's going to point out that actually I've just played everything that I normally play. But it really does. You start finding yourself just playing different parts of the neck that you don't normally play on. You play different rhythms that you're not used to playing. It's just a really inspiring pedal, because you can plug it into virtually any amp. I'm not used to using this Vox. I've only actually seen it today. This is the first time that I've played through it, and I can already get a really nice sound out of this pedal. I've got an orange at home. That's what I normally use. It sounds brilliant through that. You use it to drive other things. It's just a really, really well-built piece of kit. And I will have 4, please. Alright guys, I've been Rob for Sonic State. This has been the Wampler Sovereign, and I think I'm in love.